I'm not telling you.
Okay.
Why will I tell you? And God, I hope that these are private conversations. There is a lot of empathy that I get from AI. There's a lot of time that AI has for me that other people may not have. Hi, my name is Soha Ali Khan, and you're watching me on Tweak India. I think the first couple of months are exhausting, mainly because the baby has no sense of circadian rhythm. There's no night or day. If you're breastfeeding, then you're up every 2 hours. So it can be very challenging. If you can get that sleep when the baby sleeps, which I couldn't do, then that helps. It's tiring, but it's worth it. Yeah, of course. Now there's a full break. She's 8. There's a lot of balance. There's a lot of time that I get to myself for my health, for my work, for my family, for my friends who have called and they're saying, oh, now you want to hang out? And you had no time for us earlier. People say when you have a baby, life changes. Life doesn't change. Life ends and a new life begins. Really, who you are before you were a mother is a different person to who you are after you become a mother. It's like two separate personalities. I always knew that I liked things done a certain way, but I didn't realize how much of a control freak I really am. And I think when you have a child, lots of people are involved in bringing up that child. That's when it really came to my attention that there was a problem. Myself, because I, again, have trouble delegating, and I'm very much like, I'll fix it myself. So I've recognized that now, and now I open up, and I've also understood you should not have one person. You should have many people. Today we live in nuclear families, and there's a lot of pressure on the marriage because your husband has to be everyone to you. He has to be your best friend, he has to be your husband, he has to be your child's father, he has to be, in our house, like the best cook, all of these things. And that's very hard for one person to do. So girlfriends, very important. I speak to my mother about certain things, I speak to my brother about certain things, I speak to my husband about certain things, I speak to my sister about certain things. I really have a wonderful network now of help. I do too. I would like to think I have a healthy balance between the real people in my life and the machines. But I also do think that there is a lot of empathy that I get from AI. There's a lot of time that AI has for me that other people may not have. And there seems to be a lot of what I need to hear coming back to me. So I'm also aware that this is being fed to me. And I voluntarily keep going back.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you.
Okay.
Why will I tell you? And God, I hope that these are private conversations because the day my histories get out there, I always ask, I never say for me, I always say, I'm asking for a friend. Never actually ask for yourself, guys. I think if you spend long enough with anyone, you will have to see all sides to them. And I think now 8 years is long enough for Inaya to see me for what I truly am, which is far from perfect, a bit of a mess at times. I've lost my temper, I've cried, and she sees me. She sees me for who I truly am. So I think that instead of pretending, which I did, I think I successfully pretended for 3 years to be someone else. But now I'm grateful to her that she has empathy and that she accepts me for who I am and she loves me for who I am, and she really has seen all sides to me. More sides to me than most people, I would say. The work-life balance thing, which seems really basic, and in fact, our last podcast was also on this. There are women who now understand that you cannot be in all places at one time, but we still hold ourselves to a very high standard. We want to excel at work. We want to be there at every single moment that happens in our child's life. I think it's hard to do all. So I think now most of the women I've spoken with understand that, but deep inside, I think they still suffer from guilt. That guilt is coming from within and years of conditioning. It takes a lot to unlock that. And everything is up for negotiation these days. I try and set them, and I fight for them. The one thing that I've been fighting for is bedtime for my child at around 8 o'clock. And that's one that people have given me. People who do not feel the same way have said, okay, have this one because it seems like you get a bit crazy at 8 o'clock. So in the interests of humanity, let Inaya herself says, fine, I'll go to bed. Makes you happy, I'll go to bed. Just relax. So I really feel like for her, 8 o'clock, and for myself, 10:30 is a good time to go to bed. Does it happen all the time? No. But it's something that I'm trying to keep as more or less a general rule. My mother was, she had 3 children. I have 1 child. She was also at the peak of her very successful commercial career as a Hindi film heroine. Her life was very different to mine. But what I think I get from her life, it helped her because she was a working mother with rules. It helped her to have bedtime at 8 o'clock because it gave her a sense that, okay, I know where my child is at a particular time. And that's not to the detriment of the child. It's also knowing and wanting the child's best interests. As I said, the one thing that she was particular about with us also was an 8 o'clock bedtime. And I think that's why, with a great sense of validation, I take this forward. I think it's by first defining what success and failure actually are and what they mean to you. And I think that for me, and certainly for my father, because I remember him having this conversation, success was about happiness. It wasn't about how much you achieved professionally. It was about being happy. And I had this conversation with Inaya just this morning. I said, to me, Inaya, happiness is not wanting to be anyone else. Wanting to be who you are. Now, do I like that person's hair? Yes. Do I love her skin? Yes. Do I like and do I wish that I was a part of that, hugely successful film or that great role? Yes. But do I want to be that person in entirety? No. I only want to be me. I want bits and pieces of other people's lives, but I don't want to swap my life with anyone else. And I think if you can confidently say that, then that is success. I say, Inaya, until you read this book, you can't watch TV. And that's true. Sometimes you have to bribe your children. Sometimes you have to incentivize them. Not all of them will be born readers who will just say, like I have a lot of friends who have children who are readers. And I'm like, my God, how? Do I tell Inaya, why can't you be more like X, Y, and Z? Of course not. Yes, I do. Does it work? No, of course not. Because the minute you tell them that, they completely rebel and revolt and say, whatever, I don't want to be like that person. And then they will repeat their behavior, so you'll dig yourself into a hole. What can you do? You set an example by being a good role model. You don't be on your phone all the time and then suggest they read a book. You read books around them, you leave books around them. For Inaya, and again, it'll be each to their own, she is loving Enid Blyton and she's loving, at this age of 8, St. Clair's and Malritas. She loves all of that. Even The Faraway Tree she loved. So something magical and enduring about Enid Blyton. She's also enjoying Harry Potter, but she enjoys it being read to her through Audible, and it has done wonders for her vocabulary. The other day she told me that you are exasperating, and I was like offended but also really impressed. So I was like very confused. I was like, I'm so happy that you called me exasperating. And then she said, I'm flabbergasted. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. She has an amazing vocabulary. Yes, I think certainly if the child is unaccompanied by someone that you want to photograph, you absolutely should not be taking pictures of children by themselves. I would say that the ethical thing would be to blur out the image, the face of the child. A lot of people say, why are you doing that now? Because really terrifying things are being done to children digitally, and that's why we're doing it. Honestly, guys, I have not wanted a holiday without my child and my husband. I like having afternoons off. I like having the whole day off. But I like us coming together at the end of the day. I've been told that it's very healthy to step away. And I'm not saying this is the right way to go about it. And I look forward to my first girl trip without my husband and my child. I think that an iPad is a wonderful device in the right hands at the right time, but it is also a gateway to the world. And all of us have probably seen Adolescence, and we've understood the show and have understood that we think our children are safe when they're home alone in their bedrooms. But if they're alone at home in their bedrooms with an iPad, they're not at home alone in their bedrooms. The world has access to them, and they have access to the world. So without exercising parental controls, and that means physically and digitally, you must be present. I think it's a very serious thing. So no, I don't think it's the iPad, I think it's the parent. Yes, it is a big cop-out. I would say that it puts a lot of pressure. Typically in India, women have been put on pedestals and worshipped, and a lot of them have not asked to be worshipped. They said, please treat us as humans, please accept us with our flaws, and don't expect us to do everything because we are only human. I think when you expect at that level, it's like the honeymoon phase in a relationship. You're only setting yourself up for failure and disappointment. If you watched this video, then like and subscribe. If you loved it, then share. Women need more sleep than men, so let me sleep for that extra hour.